History doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. Mark Twain. Throughout history, there have been countless missed opportunities. In hindsight, it's easy to look back and say if I had invested $1,000, I'd be a millionaire today. But you must remember that the people doing that at the time were faced with massive criticism that would have propagated fear, uncertainty, and doubt. The big-time investors that were able to endure that criticism became billionaires, and the critics were mocked for having missed out on what was clearly, in hindsight, one of the best investments of the century. To become wealthy, one needs the ability to identify opportunities that will shape our future and then be blessed with the timing and bravery to bet big. No one makes money on hindsight. Billionaires are minted with foresight. I don't believe history is repeating itself, but it is rhyming. Blockchain technology is mirroring previous investment opportunities to a T. Don't get me wrong, there are countless new opportunities that are unlike anything we've seen before, but primarily the space is comprised of projects that are improving the existing infrastructure we have today. Now you may still be kicking yourself that you missed out on these investments. Maybe you had a friend that told you to invest in something and you didn't. Maybe you had a friend that told you not to invest, so you stayed away. Or maybe you were in the midst of setting up an account and never finished the process. The point is, you can stop torturing yourself because now is the time for your redemption. Now is your second chance. Let's rewind the clock and have a crack at the investments that will go down as some of the best in history. Chapter 1. The Golden Bitcoin Standard. In the mid-1800s, the world was struck by gold fever and people rushed to get their share of this precious metal. But why? What makes this metal so valuable? Ultimately, what makes gold valuable is that it is abundant enough to create coins but rare enough that not everyone can produce them. Additionally, it doesn't corrode, providing a sustainable store of value. Not to mention, there is tremendous effort required to mine, process, smelt, and refine it. All of these factors have a bearing on the price of gold, but most importantly, humans are physically and emotionally drawn to it, and societies and economies have placed value on gold, thus perpetuating its worth. Gold is the metal we fall back on when other forms of currency don't work. On the 3rd of January 2009, Satoshi Nakamoto gave us Bitcoin right after the 2008 financial crisis. Bitcoin was developed as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system that could serve as an alternative to traditional currencies. I may be stating the obvious here, but Bitcoin clearly doesn't have the same physical characteristic that gives gold its value, but it's still deemed valuable because it shares much of the same characteristics that have been used to justify the value of gold. Firstly, Bitcoin and gold both have a fixed or finite supply. Bitcoin has a known fixed supply of 21 million, whereas the entire supply of gold is just an estimate based on geological surveys, and these estimates don't account for the giant golden asteroids floating around in space. But we do know there is a finite amount of it on Earth. Secondly, Bitcoin and gold are both mined. In order to emulate the same supply and demand mechanics as gold, the Bitcoin blockchain was programmed to halve the block reward approximately every 4 years, meaning miners only receive half the amount of Bitcoin for each block confirmation after every halving event. People like the Winklevoss brothers became billionaires by identifying these similarities and investing big into Bitcoin at the right time. I believe that Bitcoin and blockchain technology will not only go down as one of history's greatest investments, it will also be remembered as one of history's greatest rhyming moments, due to its likeness to gold. Chapter 2. The dot-com and crypto bubble. The day is May 15, 1997, a Thursday under the sign of Taurus, the US President is Bill Clinton, the UK Prime Minister is Tony Blair, and Pope John Paul II is leading the Catholic Church. This was also the day Amazon held their initial public offering. If you had invested $1,000 in Amazon on that day, you would have $1.2 million today. Now this all seems glamorous on the surface, but you must remember the crucial event that occurred between 1997 and today that shook out a lot of investors: the collapse of the dot-com bubble. On the surface, it's easy to say you would have held your investment from 1997 until today because you know how much that investment is worth now, but you're susceptible to hindsight bias, the tendency for people to perceive past events as being more predictable than they actually were. If you had experienced Amazon's stock price falling from $113 to $6 during the dot-com bubble, it may be a different story. As I mentioned in my last video, I entered the cryptocurrency market at literally the worst time imaginable, being the end of 2017. Buying at that time was the equivalent of buying Amazon stock for $113 and riding it all the way down to $6. I can't tell you how many investments I bought only to watch it go down more than 90% in value. It was soul crushing because it was my first time something like this had ever happened to me. But I recognize I'm not the only one this has ever happened to, and that brings us to the second rhyming moment. At this moment in time, it's hard to say for certain what the future holds for cryptocurrency, but given it has similar disruptive technology and market cycle to the dot-com bubble, I anticipate the crypto market mirroring how the stock market performed during that time. Chapter 3: .com and .crypto domains. When you think of the price of a domain, I'm sure you think that one only costs about $17 a year. But domain names can sell for much more than that. In fact, the average price of a domain name sold in the secondary market is in the thousands of dollars. Top lists vary because many people don't report the sale of their domains publicly, but most people agree with the majority of the highest sales reported for domain names. The most expensive one being cars.com, which sold for $872 million. So you can see how buying .com domains was an extremely profitable way to make money. Here are the 25 most expensive domain names publicly reported. .com domains were very profitable, but I believe .crypto domains will be even more profitable for 7 reasons. .crypto domains can be purchased for a one-off fee of $40. They cannot be seized by a third party. They can enable censorship-resistant websites, can be transferred around the world in seconds, give owners sole control and access to domain management features, act as a human-readable address for receiving crypto payments, and can be utilized as an email address to send and receive emails from. These .crypto domains haven't been around for very long, but they're already fetching a high price. Just 3 months ago, sex.crypto sold for 230 ETH, which was worth approximately $120,000. Today, that same purchase would be worth $192,000 because the price of ETH has gone up. Give it some time, but I think crypto domains will soon rise to overshadow their .com domain counterpart. If you're interested in getting your hands on a blockchain domain, you can find my referral link down in the description below. It's a free and simple way to support the channel, so thank you in advance for using it. Chapter 4: Internet and Blockchain Company Initial Public Offerings. Investing in internet companies at IPO would have provided some of the best returns in history, if you chose the correct investments. eBay was one of those companies. Founded in 1995, around the same time as Amazon, the company experienced rapid growth and was taken public in September 1998. The IPO price of just $18 nearly tripled in the first day of trading, reaching $53. Additionally, eBay was spared the worst of the carnage of the dot-com bubble bursting, possibly because the company's product, online auctions, grew in popularity as other companies were crashing and burning. Additionally, if you had invested in Netflix when they held their IPO on May 23, 2002, an investment of $1,000 would have given you $343,400 today. Now you've seen how profitable internet companies can be. Are you ready to see how profitable blockchain companies can be? Coinbase is the first blockchain company to announce that it's going public, and they're not alone. A suite of blockchain companies are already preparing to do the same. Some include Kraken, Ripple, and Uphold. Interestingly, back in 2017 and 18, when the cryptocurrency market was pumping, several publicly traded companies announced they were getting involved in blockchain, which saw their stock price skyrocket. One example was Kodak. Kodak announced that it would be developing Kodak Coin, a photographer-oriented blockchain cryptocurrency used for payments when licensing photographs. Upon the announcement of this project, their stock price shot up 60%. If that wasn't enough, a little-known microcap stock called Long Island Iced Tea Corp changed its name to Long Blockchain Corp and announced that it's shifting its primary corporate focus towards the exploration of investment opportunities that leverage the benefits of blockchain technology. This prompted the stock price to rise and close up 183% for the day. This was during a time when the cryptocurrency market was skyrocketing, but I believe these companies exploded in price because people wanted exposure to blockchain technology. They just didn't know how else to get it. This may seem odd, but back in 2012, a mate and I were looking at investing in a Bitcoin company that was going to list on the Australian Stock Exchange. We didn't know much about it, only that it was different to anything we had seen before and wanted to own a part of it. YouTube videos never explained Bitcoin in a way that made sense to me, so I didn't realize you could buy and own it yourself. I thought you had to get exposure to it through a company. It wasn't until I revisited everything back in 2017 when prices were rising that I finally started to understand what Bitcoin was and why it was so revolutionary. I'm not sure if other people have or had the same thoughts as me, but it would help explain why the stock prices of these publicly listed companies soared on the announcement of them looking into blockchain technology. Additionally, I can't say for sure how well these blockchain companies will perform at their respective IPOs, but in the months and years that follow, I believe they will do extremely well, and if my theory is correct, being that people want exposure to blockchain technology, then I presume they could also perform very well at IPO. But I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think this was all based on hype? Do you think investors thought these companies getting involved in blockchain technology would improve their business? Do you think people wanted exposure to blockchain tech, or a combo of all of these? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Chapter 5: Real and Virtual Estates. Real estate investing has proven time and time again to be a solid place to park your money. Over the last 2 centuries, about 90% of the world's millionaires have been created by investing in real estate. Investments in real estate are great because when you pay down the loan against your asset, and if it appreciates in value, you can leverage that equity to purchase more real estate and continue the expansion of your real estate empire. So, can the same be said for the virtual world? I know what you're thinking. Here's a guy going to tell me that investing in virtual real estate could be as profitable as investing in actual real estate. And if you were thinking that, you'd be wrong, because I'm here to tell you it could be more profitable. There are countless examples where people have bought and sold virtual land for 10 times the value they purchased it at within a couple of months. And the best thing? These virtual land flippers don't have to deal with any of the paperwork you have to deal with in the real world, or all of those middlemen. In addition, you get all the benefits that come with a normal plot of land, including the ability to lease it out, loan against the value of the asset, and you can even build games and venues charging people to use them. Instances where this is happening right now is in Decentraland, Somnium Space, The Sandbox, and Crypto Voxels. Chapter 6: Collectables, Games, and Art. There are countless other examples that I'd really love to dive into, but it would make this already long video a lot longer, so I'll just cover them briefly here. Physical collectibles from toys to cards are being reproduced in the digital world, with projects like NBA Top Shot making awesome digital collectible cards of NBA players, and Blenko's Block Party have cool vinyl toys that can be displayed or played with in their multiplayer online role-playing game. In addition, games like Axie Infinity allow you to play and earn. You can earn SLP, small love potions, which can be sold on an open marketplace, and you can also earn tokens including Axie's governance token, AXS. Special tournaments hosted by the Axie Infinity team will also offer bigger prizes, and you can breed your Axies, selling the offspring in the marketplace for Ethereum. In addition, you can also purchase virtual land, which, as previously mentioned, can be quite lucrative. Lastly, art has made a big splash into the blockchain space this last year, with artists like Trevor Jones, Fewocious, and Beeple making some of the largest waves. On the 15th of December this year, Beeple set a nifty gateway auction record with sales of 3.5 million. The collection of creations Beeple was auctioning off, entitled the Complete MF Collection, included a series of digital artworks inspired by pop culture like Star Wars, the natural world, and technological advancement. In addition, there were a further 21 editions that came with physical versions. Chapter 7: A blueprint for creating fear in order to get cheap prices. Lastly, I want to talk about this blueprint that is used to create fear in order to get cheap prices. People should go to jail for this form of psychological manipulation, but it's not illegal. In the early to mid 90s, individuals were making enormous amounts of money buying companies like Dell, AOL, Microsoft, Netscape, and some other small internet stocks, and the institutions had completely missed that bull market, so they were scoffing at these so-called lemmings. During 1994 to 1995, we had a bit of a bear market, and institutions were saying that anybody buying internet stocks is idiotic. So you had a lot of people selling out of their positions, and these same institutions were buying. This very same story happened in 2018 when the crypto market had a huge bull market. September 12, 2017, Jamie Dimon said Bitcoin is a fraud and that he'll fire any one of his traders buying Bitcoin. The price fell 24%. January 24, 2018, George Soros said Bitcoin is a bubble. The price fell 44%. Finally, Feb 7, 2018, Goldman Sachs said most cryptocurrencies will crash to zero. Price fell 27%. Conclusion. I hope this information has shed some light on what I'm calling the Great Rewind. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that I'm grabbing with both hands. When I'm old, I want to be telling my grandkids that I was alive during the greatest transformation of wealth in the history of mankind, and I didn't leave anything on the table. I'll tell them a story about how I recognized these opportunities years before the majority and was able to invest in what will go down as some of history's greatest investments. I won't be telling them that I heard about it, thought about it, or didn't take any action, because regardless of the outcome, I want to make sure I have no regrets. Not even a single letter. Thank you once again for watching. I hope you found these comparisons insightful. I know there is always a lot of information to unpack, but I hope you enjoyed it. These videos are my way of paying it forward, and if you found this information useful, please pay it forward to somebody else by sharing this video with them. Every like helps with the algorithm, and when you sub and click the notification bell, you'll be notified when my next video drops. Of course, you don't need to do any of these things, but if you do, thank you for your support. My name is Chad, and you've been watching C2BO. I'll see you in the next one.